Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. We are here because God is concerned about that which concerns you. And so you may call every day now on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. So we are here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you by Fiji Water. You may already know that Fiji Water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water collects in a natural artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. And for all of our listeners and viewers who continue giving on the Give segment of our app, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast, we thank you for your support and your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here to address whatever topics you might like to discuss and whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. So I'm going to, first of all, say to everyone, as you can see, I'm looking at the screens and trying to make certain that we are not being challenged in our Daily Divine Direction broadcast with technology. There's a few things going on here that I can see, but I'm sure they're going to resolve themselves as we move forward. But I want to say to everyone, of course, you know we are Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live, and we are continuing to expand our platforms. You'll begin seeing some interviews in the coming year. We are going to be developing our Zoom platform, which will be integrated with our live stream so that we can do some interviews. Our students from our Achievers Academy in their journalism program for arts will also be doing some interviews. So I'm going to encourage you to tune in, continue tuning in, invite your family, friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, and your colleagues, and tune in so that you can encourage our students also as we begin to go through some interviews in the coming year. So I'm excited about what the year holds before us, and I am encouraging you, all of you, wherever you are across the U.S. and wherever you are around the globe, stay tuned in to 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you feel as though you should be doing more than you are doing right now. However, you are not certain the actions you should be taking to accomplish the next level, to accomplish more. So let me first of all address by saying this. You don't want to just take action out of restlessness. You want to take action for a purpose. So you're saying you don't know the necessary steps to take to accomplish more. And the truth of the matter is that you're going to have to find it necessary to really, first of all, manage your time more effectively and efficiently. You're going to have to become more organized, which is also going to allow you to be more efficient. And you're going to have to really focus on your commitment to the next level, to getting to the next level. Now, one of the things I said yesterday on the broadcast is that sometimes the next level doesn't necessarily mean being elevated. It doesn't necessarily mean being promoted. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to be made a significant offer that's going to change your life today. Sometimes going to the next level just means becoming a better version of ourselves. Sometimes going to the next level just means being the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. So we have to start there first. However, you cannot just take action out of restlessness. One of the things that happens so often for people is that they begin making moves because they're restless. So they feel like they have to do something different because they don't like the results they've been getting. The truth of the matter is that when you really focus on what you want to accomplish, every step you take, every action that you make is going to be made with one intent in mind, and that is to accomplish the next level of being the best version of yourself that you can become right where you are. See, here's what's real interesting is that we often ask God for more. We often expect more from God. However, we don't maximize the best version of ourselves right where we are right now. Because if you're working to do that, it's going to require you to take action. It's going to require you to take action with purpose. And so what I want to say to you is to not be the restless soul that you've always been, but be the purposeful soul that you need to be. And that means being intentional about everything that we do, every minute of the day, every hour of the day of every week, and every week of every month, and every month of every year. So we have to really break this down into specific compartments. What's the next minute look like for me? Now, some people might say, well, a minute is a minute. But 1 minute of God's time is like 1,000 years. 1 day of God's time is like thousands of years. You have to recognize that every minute means something. So what does the next minute look like for me? What am I going to do in the next minute that's going to improve what I'm trying to accomplish, enhance what I'm trying to accomplish? What can I do in the next minute that is going to make me a better version of myself? What can I do in the next hour? Now, so some people can't focus on the next minute because they're so focused on ignoring the minute and looking at the day as a whole. But before you get to what the day looks like as a whole, what's the next hour look like for you? What are you going to do within the next hour that's going to enhance what you're already doing? See, there's a reason that you're doing what you're doing right now. This is part of the assignment from God to get to the next level in your life. Part of the assignment. Everything that we're doing right now, listen to this. First, you have to trust God that you're right where you're supposed to be. And then you have to say, because I'm right here, what is it that I can do to enhance what I'm doing? So I'll use a real simple example. So I'm on the broadcast right now with all of you. And thank you for tuning in, and thank you for allowing me the pleasure of coming into your viewing environment. When this broadcast is over, then we have to post-produce the broadcast. Make sure that everything has gone live and that everything is where it needs to be to move on to the next component. Now, I will be sitting in on Achievers Academy class this afternoon, so of course I have to prepare for that. That's the following hour. And then that class begins and ends. And what am I going to do with the hour after that? So for the next 2 hours after that, I'm going to be reviewing something that was sent to me yesterday by our live stream company so that we can then prepare to work on our contract with Zoom. And every minute and every hour has to mean something. It has to be purposeful. Now, that doesn't imply that you can't enjoy life. That's not what I'm suggesting to anyone. We have to pick and choose our moments. And we have to decide what's a priority today. What is it? You know, I've said to everyone, I love golf, and, you know, when the clubs are back open at their normal hours, When spring comes, I'll be right back out on the golf course. But I pick and choose the time that I'm going to spend on the golf course and know that I'm going to work right up until that time. And when I return from the golf course, I'm going to do whatever's on my calendar to do immediately following that. I'm not going to waste any more of God's time, and I'm not going to waste any time at all. And the reason that I'm saying that is because we have to be purposeful with every minute, every hour, every day. Now, let's talk about that. We cannot afford to waste one day of our lives, because every day that goes by, we get a day older. And sooner or later, this is all going to come to an end. And we want to make certain that when this comes to an end, when we leave this earthly dwelling that we are in, this life that we're living right now, this body that we're in, and this earthly dwelling, and when we leave here and we have climbed that stairway to heaven and we get to the gate of heaven, we want to make certain everything that God has purposed for us to do has been completed. That's the goal. And in that, we want to make certain that we become the best version of ourselves that we can become, that we've experienced the fullness of God, we have maximized the fullness of God, and that others, the lives of others have been impacted. That's real important. That's an important part of our lives. That means your coworkers, your family, your coworkers, your colleagues, everyone that you've been in contact with has been impacted in a positive way. Now that, we're not talking about BC, we're talking about AD. We're not talking about the things that we've done or the people that we've had negative impact on in the past. We're talking about what we're doing now moving forward, what we're doing every day of our lives in this relationship we have with the Lord. See, all these components, all things work together for the good for those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. That's the real important aspect, that we're called according to his purpose. Then all things that we do, everything we do, will work together for the good. So what I'm going to say to you and encourage you to do is to eliminate the restlessness from your life and focus on the purpose of your life. Focus on exactly what you're doing right now and allow God to take you to the next place that he desires for you to go. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you over into our queue so that you can become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay, you will receive a monthly discount on your T-Mobile bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. So I want to make an announcement also now, and that is that we will wrap up this year. We want to, going into the new year, we want to, from January until December of the coming year, we want to maximize our agreement with T-Mobile. So I'm encouraging everyone, if you are not a T-Mobile customer, call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424 so that we can move you into our queue and maximize our agreement as you become a customer of T-Mobile and experience America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are starting another business venture and would like to know, will this business venture become successful? You have a new business partner that you have identified, and you want to know if this is going to be successful. And so let me begin by saying this. First of all, the problem is not would the business become successful. The problem is that you go from one decision to the next decision, from one opportunity to another opportunity. There's no consistency. And the problem with that, and everyone knows that I am not a dream killer, because a man who has no dreams has no future. What you need to know is that this business would not be successful only because you have no consistency. So first things first, you have to put this on hold. I'm not suggesting that you tear it down or blow it up. I'm suggesting that you place this on hold for a year, for 1 year. And at the end of the year, the end of the coming year, let's examine where you are in your consistency. Focus on the things you have right now in front of you. Focus on what you are doing right now. The things that you're doing right now, focus on those. Don't add anything to your plate. Don't take anything off of your plate. Do nothing but those things for the next 12 months. If your partner is not there at the end of the 12 months, it wasn't meant to be anyway. The problem is, and I can tell you, God has allowed me to see in that secret place, your partner will be there a year from now. The partner you've selected. What you've got to do is develop your consistency. And that means from every aspect of your life. That means showing up early for meetings. That means meeting deadlines. That means doing everything that you're doing right now with the spirit of excellence. If you want this new business venture to be successful, it will wait a year. What you have to do is develop your consistency. That's consistency, believe it or not, is part of your business acumen. The ability to be consistent in everything you do, removing emotions from the equation so that it doesn't disrupt your psyche and then have an impact on your business. Those are all part of your business acumen. And what you've got to understand is that you can't, and I made a comment about this in the sermon on Sunday. We can't be all over the place. In the Sunday sermon, it's part of what I talked about. We can't be all over the place. We have to really stay focused. It requires us to develop focus. It requires us to develop the focus on what we're doing right now before we try to go to the next level. You have to recognize the things that you do right now that are not done with the spirit of excellence, and you have to work on those things first. And once you have done that, once you've accomplished developing the consistency necessary to be successful in business, you'll be able to start your new business venture. There's things that you can work on right now to get the infrastructure sound. Every time you launch a new venture or every time you expand your business platform, you really have to perfect the infrastructure. You have to find methods to perfect the infrastructure every day. Okay, what's next? What can I do to perfect what I'm currently doing? That's what the spirit of excellence requires us to do. Okay. And then it's, what other things do I need to change within myself? Am I prepared every day to do business? Am I in the right state of mind every day to do business? Am I allowing things in my personal life to disrupt my psyche? All of those things have to be examined. The Bible tells us, let a man examine himself, man or woman. We have to examine ourselves every single day. Is there something, and when I say that, I don't mean dwell on it to the point that it disrupts your performance. I'm talking about every day saying to yourself, am I ready to do business this morning? And if not, what do I need to do, to prepare myself? So maybe it's you need to meditate. Maybe it's that you need to pray. Maybe it's that whatever it is that you need to do to prepare yourself. It can be as simple as I'm going to start eating breakfast in the morning. It can be whatever it needs to be to get you on that path of preparation. And then once you're prepared, start working immediately. And then don't stop. And I don't mean you can't take a break for lunch. I'm saying don't stop working to be distracted by things that are not relevant to your business. Don't be distracted by anything that is not relevant to what you are doing in business to perform at a high level. So preparation. Am I prepared? And then at the end of the day, examine what you've done. Have I completed all of my tasks? If I have not completed all of my tasks that were prioritized, then that means that I have to move them to tomorrow, and I'm going to start on them immediately. So what do I need to do to prepare for tomorrow's work? All of those things are important. There are things we need to do, steps we need to take to make certain that we are going to be successful. And then once you've done that, you have to then decide, what am I going to do to perform at a high level? And you have to be consistent about it. So I gave you an example of, you've got to show up for meetings on time. You've got to follow up on the things that you need to follow up on. There's a requirement for each of us to become, to get to the next level, to become the best version of ourselves before we can go to the next level. And what you're talking about is launching a new business venture, which is the next level. The question you have to ask yourself is not, will it be successful? The question you don't really have to ask this question, because you know it. Are you prepared to be successful? Have you done all of the things necessary, body, mind, and spirit, to be prepared to be successful? Are you doing the necessary things to prepare for success? Body, mind, and spirit. We all have things to work on. I'm not suggesting that. We all have, I'm not saying to you you're any different than anyone else. We all have things to work on. But you've got to work on them. We all have to work on them. We can't identify that we have issues and then not work on the issues. We have to work on the issues. We have to work on being better every single day. And when you do that, this time next year, come back and ask yourself, let's review. Have you done all of those things, and are you ready to launch the following year? If you take the time to do all of those things, that business will be successful moving forward, but not next year. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, check their store hours and stop in at their retail stores. They have everything that a man could possibly need. Shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And if you order shirts right now from ctshirts.com, you will receive 4 high-quality cotton shirts for $199. And they also right now have a sale for 2 cashmere sweaters, for one high-quality cashmere sweaters for $179.25 or 50 cents. You can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com, and The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, check their store hours, stop in at the retail store. They have everything that you could possibly need. They have home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. If you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that with so much time on your hands during the pandemic, many unpleasant things, thoughts of the past keep flowing through your mind, and it is causing you some depression. So let me first of all say this. Stop wasting time on things of the past. You've all heard me say this over and over again, and I'll keep saying this over and over again, in whether it's in Sunday sermons or whether it's on 3D. I'm just going to say this. Don't waste any more time on the past. The past is the past. I've always used the example of, first of all, your rear view mirror. And then you have two side view mirrors on your car. The rear view mirror is right in the center of your windshield, at the upper portion of your windshield. It allows you to look at what's coming up from behind. Your side view mirrors do the same thing. They're both small mirrors on the side of your car so that you can see what's on the side of your car and what's approaching from the rear. They're necessary. I've used analogies. It allows us to see our sin sneaking up on us. It also allows us to know when someone is not paying attention but approaching us from the rear. It allows us to maneuver and do what we need to do, but for safety reasons. The rear view mirrors, side view mirrors are only there for safety reasons. Your windshield is for you to see where you're going. If you're spending all your time looking behind you, how are you going to get where you're going? So what I'm going to encourage you to do is stop wasting time thinking about things and issues from the past and focus on what's before you. Focus on what God has for you that is before you. But you have to get there. You have to get there safely to get it. And stop focusing on the past. Focus on the present and the future. You have to live in the present, not in the past. The past is gone. You cannot change one thing about the past. You can't change it. There are some things that you might be able to correct, but you can't change it. You can't change the past. It's the past. What you can do is adjust your present, whatever things you need to modify in your present. You can do that. Your future is what we're building right now. Focus on building your future. But in order for you to build your future, you have to focus on your future. You have to focus on what things I need to do to, your future is the fullness of God, to accomplish and experience, accomplish, maximize, and preserve the fullness of God in my life. So you have to really focus on the future, not on the past. If you do that, you will eliminate the depression. Your depression is not clinical. And here's the thing. You say with so much time on your hands, you know, I've been saying this, and I know my wife is tired of hearing me say this, but every day, at the end of the day, I say to her, I can't believe the day has gone by so quickly. There's so much to be done, and it just goes by so quickly because we're constantly working. So stop wasting your time and work to build your future. Focus on your future.